students. Today we are going to discuss the hormones of the posterior pituitary. So these are our learning objectives. We are going to discuss the different hormones that are secreted by the posterior pituitary and what is the mechanism of action and how they are regulated. We have already studied anterior pituitary. So anterior pituitary, as you all know, is known as the adenohypophysis. The posterior pituitary is known as the neurohypophysis. There are 6 hormones that are secreted by the anterior pituitary, and there are 2 hormones that are secreted by the posterior pituitary. So the neurohypophysis or the posterior pituitary is composed of 3 parts. So this blue one is the posterior pituitary. It is composed of pars nervosa or the infundibular stalk, infundibular process, and then there is a neural stalk or an infundibular stem, which then joins the median eminence. So this blue part in the diagram is the posterior pituitary, which is also known as the neurohypophysis, and the red part is the anterior pituitary, which is also called the adenohypophysis. The posterior pituitary or the adenohypophysis is composed of pituocytes and unmyelinated nerve fibers. Pituocytes क्या होते हैं? They are glial-like cells. Glial-like cells क्या होते हैं? They are basically the supporting structures which are present in the nervous system, and they are just for support and they do not secrete any hormone. The other component of the posterior pituitary is the unmyelinated nerve fibers. And these unmyelinated nerve fibers come from the supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei of the hypothalamus through the pituitary stalk. The nerve endings of these unmyelinated nerve fibers are bulbous knobs, and they contain various secretory granules, and these secretory granules are called the Herring bodies. These nerve endings lie on the surfaces of the capillaries where they secrete the hormones. So, when the hormones are released, they enter into the capillaries by the process of diffusion, and then through these capillaries they enter into the blood. And the blood then takes these hormones to the different parts of the body. So basically, there are 2 hormones that are secreted by the posterior pituitary. ADH, which is antidiuretic hormone, and there is vasopressin, which is the other name for the antidiuretic hormone, and the other hormone is the oxytocin. Both of these hormones are produced within the hypothalamic nuclei, the supraoptic and the paraventricular nuclei of the hypothalamus. The supraoptic nuclei mainly secretes ADH and only a small amount of oxytocin, and the paraventricular nuclei secrete mainly oxytocin and a little amount of ADH. So basically, both of these nuclei are responsible for the secretion of antidiuretic hormone as well as oxytocin. तो यहाँ पे जो पैरावेंट्रिकुलर और सुप्राऑप्टिक न्यूक्लियाई हैं हमारे पास, they are basically the cell bodies of the magnocellular neurons. So these cell bodies of the magnocellular neurons are responsible for the secretion of the hormones. So these hormones are synthesized within the supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei, and then from the hypothalamus they come to the posterior pituitary through the hypothalamic hypophyseal tract by means of axonic flow. So as we already discussed that these are the unmyelinated nerve fibers. ठीक है? तो यहाँ की सेल बॉडीज पड़ी हुई हैं इन द पैरावेंट्रिकुलर और सुप्रा ऑप्टिक न्यूक्लियाई में, और यहाँ पे जो भी हार्मोन प्रोड्यूस होगा वो एक्सोनिक फ्लो के थ्रू जो है वो आ जाएगा इनटू द पोस्टीरियर पिट्यूटरी. And there is a transport protein which is responsible for the transport of these two hormones, and that transport protein is called neurophysin. So ये हार्मोन जब भी रिलीज होंगे दे विल कम एंड दे विल बी स्टोर्ड एट द नर्व एंडिंग्स. ठीक है, सो नर्व एंडिंग्स कहाँ पड़ी हुई है आपके पास? पोस्टीरियर पिट्यूटरी में. ठीक है, सो इम्पल्स आएगी, कोई भी सिग्नल आएगा हाइपोथैलेमस में सो हाइपोथैलेमस से हार्मोन secrete होगा and it will go into the posterior pituitary, and then it is going to be released from the nerve endings into the circulation, and then the blood will carry the blood to its respective target organ. So as we know that these hormones are released from the nerve endings, so we can also call them neurohormones. जो बाइंडिंग प्रोटीन है या जो कि लेकर आ रही है हार्मोन को फ्रॉम द हाइपोथैलेमस टू द posterior pituitary is the neurophysin. So न्यूरोफाइसिन 1 होती है और न्यूरोफाइसिन 2 होती है. न्यूरोफाइसिन 1 किसको लेकर आएगी? ऑक्सीटोसिन को लेकर आएगी. और न्यूरोफाइसिन 2 किसको लेकर आएगी? वेसोप्रेसिन को लेकर आएगी. So this is very important. You need to remember this, that which neurophysin is responsible for bringing which hormone. ठीक है, सो ये आपके BCQs में आता है क्वेश्चन कि न्यूरोफाइसिन 1 is responsible for carrying oxytocin, vasopressin, LH, FSH. ठीक है, so you should know that neurophysin 1 is for oxytocin and neurophysin 2 is for vasopressin. So once the neurophysin brings them to the nerve terminal, and from here these hormones are in the form of secretory granules, and then they are released from the nerve endings by calcium dependent exocytosis. So calcium comes in and it enters into the cell membrane of the nerve ending, it changes its permeability, and there is docking of protein, and the secretory vesicles are released into the postsynaptic space, you can say, or from the nerve endings. ठीक है, so then they are absorbed into the adjacent capillaries. So NMJ में क्या था? मसल आगे होता है, यहाँ पे क्या है? यहाँ पे ब्लड कैपिलरीज हैं, so वहाँ पे जाके ये absorb हो जाते हैं. So the hormones ADH and oxytocin are loosely bound to the neurophysin. तो आराम से in response to the body need it separates, और इसके अलावा न्यूरोफाइसिन का और कोई फंक्शन नहीं है, वो अपना काम करती है, ऑक्सीटोसिन और ADH को लेकर आती है नर्व एंडिंग पे, और उसके बाद वहाँ से हार्मोन की डॉकिंग हो जाती है, हार्मोन रिलीज हो जाता है, और उसके बाद दोबारा से न्यूरोफाइसिन वापस जो है वो सेल बॉडी के अंदर चली जाती है और अपना काम करती है दोबारा से हार्मोन लाने का. सो the only function of neurophysin here is the transport of the hormones ADH and oxytocin. So now we are going to discuss the hormone antidiuretic hormone ADH, also known as the vasopressin, in detail. So जब भी वेसोप्रेसिन रिलीज होगा तो इट विल एक्ट ऑन इट्स रिसेप्टर. ठीक है, कौन कौन से रिसेप्टर्स हैं वेसोप्रेसिन के? वी हैव V1A and V1B and V2 receptors, and all these receptors are G protein coupled. ठीक है, we have already discussed that this is the most common mechanism by which the hormone exert their action. So V1A और V1B के साथ अगर वेसोप्रेसिन आके बाइंड करेगा तो क्या एक्टिवेट होगा? फॉस्फेटिडाइल इनोसिटॉल. ये फॉस्फेटिडाइल इनोसिटॉल क्या करेगा? इट इज गोइंग टू हाइड्रोलाइज एंड इट इंक्रीजेस इन इंट्रासेलुलर कैल्शियम. Whereas अगर वेसोप्रेसिन आएगा और अटैच होगा विद द V2 रिसेप्टर्स, सो उससे क्या होगा? देयर इज एन इंक्रीज इन द साइक्लिक AMP. In the picture, you can see the structure of the vasopressin receptors and how the vasopressin is coming and it is attaching itself to the different receptors. V2 receptors होते हैं in the renal system, in the renal collecting ducts, and V1A are present in the vascular smooth muscle, liver and brain. V1B are present within the anterior pituitary. Now, what are the physiological functions of antidiuretic hormone? So, the first function of the vasopressin is the water reabsorption or uh, it is anti-diuretic hormone. So, what it is going to do? It is going to do the function of anti-diuresis. ठीक है? So, diuresis क्या होता है? Diuresis means there is excretion of urine. ठीक है? So, it is going to retain the urine. So it is going to cause the retention of urine in the distal tubules and the collecting ducts of the kidneys. And along with that, it also causes the constriction of the vascular smooth muscle. And it is responsible for generalized vasoconstriction. So there is a very good flow chart. So it is showing the process by which the various factors are going to stimulate the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus is going to secrete hormones from the posterior pituitary, and how the vasopressin is going to act on the different systems. So the principal effect of the antidiuretic hormone is the retention of water by the kidneys. It increases the permeability of the distal tubules and the collecting ducts to water, and ADH is mainly responsible for increasing the facultative reabsorption. ठीक है? So kidneys में basically दो तरह की reabsorption होती है. One is the obligatory and second is the facultative reabsorption. जब हम आपको किडनी का मॉड्यूल पढ़ाएंगे तो हम आपको ये दोनों टाइप की रीअब्जॉर्प्शन जो है वो डिटेल में पढ़ाएंगे, एंड वी विल आल्सो डिस्कस द डिफरेंस. सो अभी के लिए व्हाट यू हैव टू लर्न दैट एडीएच कौन सी टाइप की रीअब्जॉर्प्शन करवाता है? फैकल्टेटिव रीअब्जॉर्प्शन. सो दिस फैकल्टेटिव रीअब्जॉर्प्शन इज under the control of hormone, and the hormone is ADH, and the main site of action is distal tubule and collecting ducts. जबकि आपकी जो obligatory reabsorption होती है वो होती है proximal tubule में. So ADH क्या करेगा? Retention of water कराएगा, conserve कराएगा water को, and it produces a very concentrated urine. और अगर ADH नहीं होगा तो the tubules are impermeable to water, and it causes extremely diluted urine. So जब भी ADH आएगा, it is going to bind to its V2 receptors in the renal tubules. So this picture is from Guyton. It's a very good picture describing the whole mechanism of action of ADH. So V2 is going to be activated. This V2, as you can see, is coupled with a stimulatory G protein. This stimulatory G protein is going to activate the adenylate cyclase. I hope you remember the structure of G protein. इसके 3 subunits होते हैं, and the alpha subunits detaches and activates the adenylate cyclase. ये adenylate cyclase enzyme क्या करेगा? It stimulates the formation of cyclic AMP. ठीक है? जो साइक्लिक एएमपी है वो क्या करेगा? एक्टिवेट कर देगा प्रोटीन काइनेज ए को. प्रोटीन काइनेज ए करेगा प्रोटीन की फॉस्फोराइलेशन एंड लीड टू द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ various intracellular proteins. So after the protein phosphorylation, there is movement of aquaporin 2 to the luminal side of the cell membrane. ठीक है? जो ल्यूमन की तरफ होगी. सो उसके बाद क्या होगा? जो मॉलिक्यूल है एक्वापोरिन 2 के वो फ्यूज कर जाएंगे, एंड दे आर गोइंग टू फॉर्म द वाटर चैनल्स. ठीक है? तो क्या होगा? बहुत सारे वाटर चैनल्स जो हैं वो जाके ल्यूमिनल साइड ऑफ द रीनल ट्यूब्यूल के ऊपर अटैच हो जाएंगे, एंड दिस इज अ वेरी फास्ट प्रोसेस. Within 5 to 10 minutes, the aquaporins are inserted into the luminal membrane and there is movement of water by the process of simple diffusion. So second main effect of vasopressin or ADH is the vasoconstrictor effect. Okay, so whenever there is hemorrhage or there is water loss or there is trauma or there is dehydration, there is a decrease in the blood volume and also there is decrease in the blood pressure. ये सारे फैक्टर्स क्या करेंगे, स्टिमुलेट कर देंगे ADH की रिलीज को फ्रॉम द पोस्टीरियर पिट्यूटरी. So ये ADH क्या करेगा, ये जाएगा and it is going to have a potent effect on the arterioles and thus it increases the blood pressure. So whenever there is decrease in the blood pressure, especially up to 15 to 25%, ठीक है, strongly stimulate कर देगा ADH को और ADH की secretion up to 50 times जो है वो बढ़ जाएगी. So what is the mechanism through which the ADH causes vasoconstriction? Whenever there is vasopressin, ये आएगा and it is going to stimulate the V1 receptors. ठीक है? V1 receptors will act through the inositol triphosphate, the inositol triphosphate levels, and it is going to stimulate the calcium. So what is the mechanism? Right atrium has stretch receptors. ठीक है? So ये stretch receptors कब stimulate होते हैं? Whenever there is overfilling. So जो है वो send करते हैं signals brain को and as a result there is inhibition of secretion of ADH. ठीक है? और फिर वो kidneys पे जाके act करेगा and also on the blood vessels and it causes the vasoconstriction. Conversely, जब ये stretch receptors unexcited होंगे under the condition of underfilling, ठीक है, किसी वजह से there is less blood volume and there is less filling, so there is greatly increased secretion of ADH by the signals that are transmitted to the brain. Also, there is decreased stretch of the baroreceptors of the carotid, aortic, and pulmonary regions participate in increase in the ADH secretion. How the ADH secretion is regulated? There is an osmotic stimuli and there is an non-osmotic stimuli. So, जब भी पेशेंट आपके पास आया है, उसको डिहाइड्रेशन हो गई है या उसका ब्लड लॉस हो गया है, so क्या हो रहा है? There is an increase in the plasma osmolarity. So this increase in the plasma osmolarity will going to stimulate the osmoreceptors which are present in the hypothalamus. ठीक है? So ये osmoreceptors stimulate होंगे and they are going to send signals to the magnocellular cells of the supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei and they are going to release ADH. So there is release of more ADH and this ADH is going to act on the collecting ducts of the kidneys and they are going to cause antidiuresis, that is reabsorption of water, and as a result there is dilution of the ECF and the body will bring the osmotic pressure of the blood to normal. ठीक है, so body क्या कर रही है? Body is maintaining homeostasis. So whenever there is some condition, तो body का कौन सा mechanism activate हो जाता है? Homeostatic mechanism. So body अपनी तरफ से पूरी कोशिश करती है कि सब चीजें जो है वो normal पे चली जाएं. Also, जब भी osmoreceptors stimulate होंगे within the hypothalamus, they are going to stimulate the thirst center. So the person will cause an increase in the water intake. So all of this is a negative feedback mechanism. Non-osmotic stimuli क्या है for the regulation of ADH? Whenever there is decrease in the blood volume more than 10%, ये stimulate करेगा mechanoreceptors को in the great arteries, aorta and carotid as well as in the right atrium. And all of them are going to cause an increase in the ADH. You can see in the flow chart. तब भी there is loss of ECF volume, there is less pressure in the right atrium and great vessel. ठीक है, so stretch receptors जो है वो stimulate नहीं हो रहे हैं, तो हाइपोथैलेमस को क्या सिग्नल मिल रहा है कि नर्व इम्पल्सेस कम आ रही हैं एट्रियम से। इसका मतलब है कि ब्लड का जो लेवल है वो कम हो गया है। सो हमें क्या चाहिए, वी नीड टू मेंटेन द ब्लड वॉल्यूम। तो वो सिग्नल भेजेगा paraventricular and supraoptic nuclei को to secrete ADH. So ADH release होगा and more ADH is going to cause more water reabsorption in the kidneys. Simultaneously, the third center is also stimulated and there is going to cause an increase in the water intake, and all of these factors are going to maintain the ECF volume. Now, what are the abnormalities of ADH secretion? ADH की secretion अगर बढ़ जाए, hyper secretion हो जाए, so whenever there is increase in the secretion of ADH, this condition is called syndrome of inappropriate hypersecretion of antidiuretic hormone SIADH. Cause क्या है इसकी? या तो there is excessive और inappropriate secretion of ADH हो रही है posterior pituitary से, या फिर कोई भी जो है वो malignant tumor है जो कि grow कर गया है within the pituitary and it is causing the posterior pituitary to secrete larger amount of all the hormones along with the ADH. So ये जो secretion होगी ADH की, इट इज़ नॉट इनहिबिटेड बाय हाइपोटोनिक प्लाज्मा। ठीक है, बहुत ज़्यादा जो है वो एडीएच रिलीज हो रहा है, बहुत ज़्यादा वाटर रिटेन हो रहा है, वाटर निकल ही नहीं रहा है, तो क्या हो रहा है, प्लाज्मा क्या हो रहा है, हाइपोटोनिक हो रहा है। लेकिन साथ साथ बॉडी क्या कर रही है, देयर इज कंटिन्यूस लॉस ऑफ सोडियम रिजल्टिंग इन परसिस्टेंट प्लाज्मा हाइपोटोनिसिटी। सो ये सोडियम लॉस क्यों हो रहा है, ये नाइट्रोयूरेसिस क्यों हो रहा है, प्राइमरीली एक as a compensatory mechanism to handle the volume overload caused by excessive water retention। जो भी वाटर रिटेन हो रहा है वो क्या कर रहा है, स्ट्रेच कर रहा है हार्ट को। ठीक है, एज अ रिजल्ट देयर इज गोइंग टू बी रिलीज ऑफ द ANP। ये ANP क्या करेगा, इनहिबिट कर देगा एल्डोस्टेरोन को एंड इट इज गोइंग टू प्रमोट सोडियम एक्सक्रीशन टू नॉर्मलाइज द ब्लड प्रेशर। ठीक है, ये हम आगे जब एल्डोस्टेरोन पढ़ेंगे तो उसमें आपको बहुत डिटेल में पढ़ाएंगे। So basically the body is trying to maintain homeostasis. ठीक है, then there is a condition whenever there is hyposecretion of ADH. ADH कम रिलीज हो रहा है। ठीक है, so this condition is known as diabetes insipidus। अगर इंसुलिन कम सिक्रीट हो रहा है या फिर इंसुलिन रेजिस्टेंस हो रही है तो दैट इज कॉल्ड डायबिटीज मेलाइटस। लैक ऑफ या हाइपोसिक्रेशन ऑफ ADH इज कॉल्ड डायबिटीज insipidus। ये आपसे बहुत ज़्यादा हॉस्पिटल में पूछते हैं, व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन डायबिटीज मेलाइटस एंड डायबिटीज insipidus। तो यू शुड नो कि डायबिटीज insipidus क्या होता है, whenever there is lack of ADH। So there are two types of डायबिटीज insipidus। एक तो जो है वो न्यूरोजेनिक होता है और एक जो है वो नेफ्रोजेनिक होगा। न्यूरोजेनिक का क्या मतलब है कि द कॉज इज सेंट्रल और क्रेनियल, या तो हाइपोथैलेमस में कोई मसला है या फिर पोस्टीरियर पिट्यूटरी के ग्लैंड में ही कोई मसला है, या तो ADH बन नहीं रहा या फिर रिलीज नहीं हो रहा। Then second type of diabetes insipidus is nephrogenic। Nephrogenic का मतलब क्या हुआ कि there is some problem within the collecting ducts of the kidneys। So जो भी पेशेंट आपके पास आएगा डायबिटीज insipidus का, उसके क्या क्या सिम्टम्स होंगे, the patient would present to you with polyuria। पोलीयूरिया कितना, 20 लीटर्स पर डे यूरिन होगा उसका। नॉर्मल कितना होता है, normal is 1.5 liters per day। ठीक है, so there is so much increase in the urine volume। so urine जो है वो बहुत dilute होगा, बहुत hypotonic होगा, so there is decrease in the specific gravity of the urine and there is resultant increase in the plasma osmolarity. न्यूरोजेनिक या सेंट्रल डायबिटीज इंसिपिटस में क्या हो रहा है कि the pituitary gland is not making enough ADH and the kidneys as a result make a lot of urine. ठीक है, सो किडनी को कोई सिग्नल ही नहीं जा रहा कि वो जो है वो यूरिन की जो है वो रीअब्जॉर्प्शन करे. नेफ्रोजेनिक या पेरिफेरल डायबिटीज इंसिपिटस में क्या हो रहा है? यू कैन सी दैट देयर इज सम रेजिस्टेंस at the level of the kidneys. ठीक है, so there is unresponsiveness of the ADH receptors which are present in the collecting ducts of the kidneys. So ADH तो produce हो रहा है लेकिन kidneys जो है वो respond ही नहीं कर रही ADH को. As a result there is increased excretion of urine. तो यहाँ पे हमारा एक हार्मोन कंप्लीट हो गया है विच इज ADH. ADH जब आगे भी जब हम आपको किडनी मॉड्यूल पढ़ाएंगे तो उसमें भी हम डिटेल में आपको पढ़ाएंगे. सो बेसिकली ADH जो है वो रिलीज होता है पोस्टीरियर पिट्यूटरी से एंड इट एक्ट्स ऑन द kidneys as well as the blood vessels. Second hormone that is released from the posterior pituitary is the oxytocin. Oxytocin is also secreted in the same way. It is secreted by the paraventricular nuclei mainly, and a little amount is also secreted by the supraoptic nuclei. So both the nuclei are responsible for the secretion of oxytocin. So oxytocin is also stimulated by the magnocellular cells of the supraventricular and the paraventricular, supraoptic and the paraventricular nuclei of the hypothalamus, and then they are transported from the hypothalamus to the posterior pituitary through the hypothalamic hypophyseal tract, and it comes through the transport protein which is the neurophysin 1. So whenever the hypothalamus will receive a stimulus, it causes secretion of oxytocin. This oxytocin is released from the supraoptic and the paraventricular nuclei, and then through the axonic flow it goes into the capillaries, and then it is released from the posterior pituitary into the blood. So what is the mode of action of oxytocin? So oxytocin basically के जो receptors हैं they are present on the mammary glands and the uterus. ठीक है, so जो उसके target organs हैं वो कहाँ पे हैं? They are also present in the mammary glands and the uterus. The target organs are the mammary glands and the uterus, and there are presence of receptors for it. So oxytocin क्या करेगा? अपने receptors के साथ bind करेगा and it is going to activate the G protein coupled oxytocin receptors. ठीक है, so you can see in the picture that this is a G protein coupled receptor which you already know is a serpentine receptors. So it is going to cause similarly it is going to cause the activation of the phosphatidyl inositol diphosphate, which is going to cause the formation of diacylglycerol and inositol triphosphate. ठीक है, so उसी तरीके से there is formation of the different byproducts or the different second messengers within the cell that are responsible for the various actions. So within the mammary glands, oxytocin is responsible for the ejection of the milk. ठीक है, and within the mammary glands, it is responsible for the contraction of the myoepithelial cells and responsible for the milk flow from the alveoli of the mammary glands to the exterior through the duct system. So this is one of the neuroendocrine reflex. ठीक है, so whenever there is suckling of the nipple by the baby, there is stimulation of the touch receptors, and these Such receptors are, we're going to send nerve impulse to the hypothalamus and the posterior pituitary. So the hypothalamus and the posterior pituitary is going to cause the release of the oxytocin. So oxytocin will then come and it is going to act on the myoepithelial cells on the mammary gland, and there is release of the milk. Okay, so this is known as the suckling reflex. And this is also an example of a positive feedback mechanism. Okay, so whenever the baby ceases to suckle, the cycle is broken and there is no release of milk from the mammary glands and the positive feedback cycle breaks. Okay, so basically suckling reflex is an example of a positive feedback mechanism. Also, the oxytocin has effect on the uterus. ठीक है, so एट द एंड ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी क्या होता है, ऑक्सीटोसिन की सिक्रीशन इंक्रीज हो जाती है. ठीक है, ऑक्सीटोसिन के रिसेप्टर्स भी बढ़ जाते हैं इन द वॉल ऑफ द यूट्रस एट द एंड ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी. सो दिस प्रोसेस in which the number of receptors of the oxytocin increases in the wall of uterus, that is called the upregulation of receptors. ठीक है, तो क्या हो रहा है, नॉर्मली रिसेप्टर्स नहीं होते, बहुत कम होते हैं बिकॉज नॉर्मली रोल नहीं है. ठीक है, तो ये कब होंगे रिसेप्टर्स फॉर्म, जब देयर इज अ प्रेगनेंसी एंड द प्रेगनेंसी अप्रोचेस द एंड. ठीक है, so oxytocin within the uterus causes contraction of the uterus and helps in the expulsion of the fetus. So whenever the baby's head engages in the pelvis, so it presses on the cervix. So cervix के ऊपर क्या होते हैं, receptors होते हैं. So वो receptors क्या करते हैं, सिग्नल करते हैं ब्रेन को. ब्रेन के कौन से पार्ट को, हाइपोथैलेमस को. हाइपोथैलेमस क्या करेगा, सिग्नल भेजेगा सुप्रा ऑप्टिक और पैरावेंट्रिकुलर न्यूक्लियाई को टू सिक्रीट ऑक्सीटोसिन. ठीक है, so oxytocin is released and this oxytocin will then go and it acts on the uterine receptors, and the uterine receptors are going to be stimulated and it is going to cause an increase in the uterine contractions, and the uterus also becomes very sensitive to oxytocin. ठीक है, and oxytocin secretion therefore also increases during the labor, and this is also an example of a positive feedback mechanism. ठीक है, ये हमने शुरू वाला पार्ट पढ़ लिया है. So basically oxytocin pregnancy में towards the end of pregnancy it is going to cause the uterine contraction, help in the uterine contraction, and after the delivery of the baby it is going to help in the suckling reflex or the milk let down. Along with that, oxytocin also stimulates the release of prostaglandins in the placenta. ठीक है, सो प्लेसेंटा के अंदर से प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन्स जो भी रिलीज होंगे वो क्या करेंगे, इंटेंसिफाई कर देंगे यूट्राइन कॉन्ट्रैक्शन को, विच इज इंड्यूस्ड बाय द ऑक्सीटोसिन. सो बेसिकली द प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन्स आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर ऑगमेंटेशन ऑफ द लेबर. ठीक है, लेबर जो स्टार्ट हो गया उसको बढ़ा देंगे, उसको ऑगमेंट कर देंगे. So oxytocin also has therapeutic use. It is responsible for the induction of labor in gynae ward. Whenever there is a patient in which, or a pregnant woman, we don't call a pregnant woman a patient. Pregnancy is a normal physiological phenomena. So in the gynae ward, whenever there is some pregnant women, there is use of oxytocin for the induction of labor, and also after the delivery, immediately it is given after delivery to reduce the postpartum bleeding. So there is, that's all for the two hormones, ADH and oxytocin. Now there is an OSPI diagram for you. So as you know कि एंडो में आपकी जो है वो प्रैक्टिकल्स नहीं है, तो आपके जो हैं वो पिक्चर्स ही आती हैं. सो दिस इज अ लैमिनेटेड पिक्चर ऑफ पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड. ठीक है, अब यू कैन सी कि देयर इज अ पैरावेंट्रिकुलर न्यूक्लियाई, सुप्रा ऑप्टिक न्यूक्लियाई है. ठीक है, और एटीरियर पिट्यूटरी है और पोस्टीरियर पिट्यूटरी है. कैसे पहचानेंगे, ये एंटीरियर पिट्यूटरी है, पोस्टीरियर पिट्यूटरी है। आपको नहीं पता कि एंटीरियर साइड कौन सी है, वेंट्रल साइड कौन सी है और डॉर्सल साइड कौन सी है। सो यू कैन सी के हाइपोथैलेमस से क्या आ रहे हैं, unmyelinated nerve fibers आ रहे हैं to the posterior pituitary and you can see a tract which is known as the hypothalamic hypophyseal tract, ठीक है। So obviously जो right side पे है आपका, this is the posterior pituitary and this is the red one or the pink one, you can say this pink one is the anterior pituitary. Now the questions. Name the gland labeled as A. I want all of you to read it and answer them. वेरी इजी। अब ए कोई भी हम दे सकते हैं और उससे हम पूछ सकते हैं कि आप हार्मोन्स बताएं जो कि रिलीज होंगे। देन हाउ दीज हार्मोन्स आर डिलीवर्ड फ्रॉम द हाइपोथैलेमस टू द ग्लैंड। Similarly, you should know what is the path through which the hormones are transported from the hypothalamus to the anterior pituitary and how the hormones are transported from the hypothalamus to the posterior pituitary. What is neurophysin? What are the two main functions of ADH? Which clinical condition occurs due to hyposecretion of ADH? ठीक है, तो आपका जो है वो you should be by the end of this lecture you should be able to answer all of these questions, ठीक है। और इसी तरह की आपकी OSPI भी आती है। तो ये वाला जो स्लाइड है ना ये आपने आखिर में देखनी है, ठीक है। पहले you should answer it yourself, ठीक है। आंसर भी मैंने बता दिया। So I hope that is helpful for you. Thank you for listening and thank you for paying attention.